Mike FRAY, Washington, D.C. Mike FRAY was a drug dealer, a kind of like a father in the game, because he was, in his late 30s, and for early 30s, I should say, and for DC, that's like an old head, because you don't really make it past 21. It was like South Central back then. I mean, fucking DC at this point was so wild. That's why I'm making so many videos on DC more than I am in New York, because there's a lot of history, a lot of street history in DC. And this dude Mike FRAY was like the Robin Hood of the hood. Like everybody loved him. He took care of his people. He was the type of cat, like if you were part of his crew, if you were part of Mike FRAY's crew, he would, and you got knocked and you went to jail for a year or 15 years, he would fill up your commissary. So like commissaries, when you go to jail, you get like you get like a per diem, like you get an amount to, for food, if you want snacks or socks or underwear, and like you get a cap. You're only allowed, I know down here it's like $80 a month you're allowed to spend, or $100 a month. So he would basically drop a bunch of money into someone's commissary, and they'll be set for the whole time they're doing their bid. So he looked out. He didn't just say, "Oh, and I'm sure that person wrote letters to the family like, "Yo, Mike FRAY's taking care of me," or, he was just doing cool shit like that. He also gave like 15 grand or 20 grand to a friend he had that was in Houston that, I don't know what the situation was. He was a dealer too, but he was short on bread, and he even gave him, it was noted that he gave his friend in Houston a bunch of money to keep him afloat and get through the time he was getting through to provide for his family. So he really did a lot of cool shit, and he was really loved. He was considered like a peacemaker at this time. The Trinidadians in DC, they were another crew, and they were doing the same thing Mike FRAY's crew was doing, selling drugs and doing that. But they were in a huge feud, and it was about to be a war. And this is a time, don't forget, where DC is like in shambles. You got Alpo coming through the hood. His girlfriend's from DC, a wife at the time, so she brought him down. So he's running around killing people. You got Big Head Gary running around with $2 million killing people. That dude had $2 million back then. Some said 3. That's a lot of money, and that's back in the 80s. But there's rappers nowadays that don't even have 3 million, or that's all they got. So he was holding some bread, Big Head Gary. Then you have Wayne Perry. Wayne Perry's out, and he's killing everybody. And Jawbreaker's out killing everybody. So this is like a huge turmoil in DC. Plus, on top of that, the mayor is fucking smoking crack. He done smoked his kneecaps off. This dude is straight up a crackhead. These are facts. Like, he got caught, Marion Barry, he got caught, the mayor smoking crack with a prostitute that looked like fucking Joe Dirt. Like, he was this whole DC was just going to shit. So Mike FRAY was the guy everybody turned to settle everything, and he did. Like, he stopped the beef between the Trinidadians. If the Trinidadians and Mike FRAY's crew would have beefed during this time with Alpo running around, it wouldn't even, I don't even know what would happen. History would be changed, because there would be a lot more killings. There would be a lot of other shit going down. I mean, each crew had 10 to 15 members, so that's a lot of bodies that would have been dropping between those two crews. But Mike FRAY didn't really like people coming from other towns and getting money. That's why he really didn't like Alpo and wanted to kill Alpo. It's not documented. Now, you gotta remember, Alpo didn't just come. Yeah, he did come and try to take over a little bit, but at the same time, he came through with his girl. So his girl invited him to that, you know, and his girl knew everybody in DC, especially all the drug dealers. So it's like, come on, imagine like you have a homegirl, right, or a girl that you went to like elementary school with, then you went to middle school with her, and then you went to high school with her. Like, this is your friend. If she brings around a boyfriend, you're not going to treat him funny because you care for your friend. You grew up with her. You come from the same town as her. Like, that's your homie. You know her parents. You know her cousins. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't, you know, if he had really no reason to hate on him. Plus, Mike FRAY was getting bricks off him. Supposedly, Mike FRAY beat Alpo out of 10 bricks. That's a rumor. We don't know if that's true, but maybe that's the reason why Alpo had Mike FRAY killed. Mike FRAY was killed in front of a hospital, Washington Hospital, at around 10:30 p.m. His car got cut off by another car, and they shot him multiple times, 6 times to be exact. Now, Alpo had something to do with it. Alpo paid a DC dude to kill him because Alpo couldn't get to him. But why'd Alpo kill him? I personally think that Alpo killed or had Mike FRAY killed because he thought that Mike FRAY was going to kill him. So he just wanted to get it done first. I can't think of any other way. Or maybe it was over the 10 bricks. I mean, that's a lot of money. You're talking, you know, 30,000, you know what I mean? Do the math. That's a lot of bread. So it could be over the bricks. If that is true, we don't even know if that's true. Alpo claimed he never was robbed in his life. So we don't know. You know, we don't know if it's over the bricks or over the... I can't imagine... I got a feeling that Alpo was fucking everybody's girl. That's what I think it comes down to be honest with you. Because, yeah, a lot of people, you know, over the drug game, a lot of people got killed. But most people, like Andre, like Big Head Gary, all these killings are over women. You know what I mean? Like, if you really do your research, they're over the girlfriends getting fucked by other dudes. Like, Alpo was probably pressing one of his girls. You know, that's how wicked it was. It came, you know, it was... If you're all making money, why would you kill each other? Like, Alpo had a connect where he was getting bricks for dirt cheap. Why would you kill each other? You're all making bread. It's like, it's deeper than that. They were all... The girls were running around banging everybody. And I personally believe that's why, you know, Mike FRAY wanted Alpo dead. I could be wrong. Leave some comments below if you know or you know what you think of that whole situation. But Mike FRAY was also, I wouldn't say he was a rat, because that's not the case. I mean, I don't want to make it like he is, but I do think that the FBI and the cops let him move and operate because he was doing more for them out of prison than he would in. Like, they could have begged Mike FRAY up for anything. They could have made something up to people if they wanted to. But I believe that they kept him out and didn't bother and kind of turned their head away from Mike FRAY because what he did with the Trinidadians and how this whole city is going to shit. Like, Mike FRAY was actually breaking up beefs and squashing beefs and just stopping some of the killing, believe it or not. Even though he probably contributed to some of it, he also stopped a lot of it. So he was really he was influential in DC. So to talk about DC and not do a video about Mike FRAY and how, you know, he was touching paper and getting all this money is like an insult to DC. So shout out to Mike FRAY. This is Nikki P. Check our freestyles out at WeAre808 on Instagram. I'll holla at you. Peace.